From the Newstalk ZB newsroom, this is Newsfix.
In this update, Prime Minister Chris Luxon has reaffirmed commitments to walking the talk on violent crime. A worker is in a stable condition in hospital after being injured in yesterday morning's robbery at the Chapel Downs discount liquor store in Auckland's Clover Park. One witness reported seeing the offender fleeing with a six-pack of alcoholic drinks. Mr Luxon says there have to be consequences for violent crime, like yesterday's incident.
We've started our process around tackling gangs in our 100-day plan. We've talked about also in our 100-day plan and making sure we have serious consequences for serious young offenders, and that's the work that we're going to continue to do.
A Christchurch couple has been sentenced for their roles in a man's fatal drug overdose in September last year. Jared Croft and Jana Clark gave the 20-year-old man a large rock of MDMA, saying he could have it for free if he took it all at once. Croft posted the man's fatal reaction on Snapchat, and the victim was pronounced dead by paramedics later that morning. Open Justice reports the man's post-mortem found he had taken 10 times more than the recreational dose, as well as meth, cocaine and alcohol. Croft was sentenced to 28 months in jail and Clark 28 months in home detention. The government is scrapping the $16 billion Lake Onslaught pumped hydro project. The Lake Hydro development was proposed by the previous government to act as a backup of renewable energy during dry periods. But new Energy Minister Simeon Brown says the scheme was pouring money down the drain and says the market is better placed to provide energy rather than the government.
Tens of millions of dollars have been spent on it so far, and this action saves about another $60 million immediately.
Conservationists in Hawke's Bay have seen what they're describing as weird nesting behaviour among Kiwi. The birds usually have a predictable breeding pattern, but this season they're laying earlier and more frequently than usual. Kiwi expert Tasman Ward-Smith is blaming a wet season in the region for the unusual behaviour.
What I actually think is that the Kiwi do well when it's quite wet, but I guess long term we don't really know what that means.
And that's news. For sport now, White Ferns captain Sophie Devine's given a glum review of their first ever 2020 loss to Pakistan in their series opener in Dunedin. Maddie Green's 43 was New Zealand's lone highlight in posting 127 for 6 with the bat. Pakistan then cruised home with 10 balls to spare. Devine's bluntly summed up the contest on TVNZ.
Look, credit to Pakistan, they adapted to the conditions and we never had enough runs on the board, and then with the ball we've spoken at length about the links that we want to bowl and we didn't execute it. So really disappointing day for us today.
Game 2 is on Tuesday at University Oval. And a familiar foe for Kiwi squash ace Paul Cole in the final of the Hong Kong Open overnight. The world number 4 from Greymouth plays world number 1 Ali Farg in the title decider at midnight. And that's sport.
For more news, listen to Newstalk ZB live on iHeartRadio.